What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley here. We got Matt Seidel in the middle. We got Max Solo, far side, kind of upset because he doesn't have a ticket to tonight's game in Perry yet. Quinn is in the G. Burley Farm Studios, checking out the back, making sure nobody's popping in or popping out. Quinn,
I heard a knock at the door. It was weird.
it's probably Poe. I saw him go around. I figured he was either going Lorna Dunes or trying to get something to drink. So, and of
it
course
was actually Billy. He was knocking to find his ticket for the game tonight.
And we have EB.
Somebody's going to be knocking on heaven's door.
Oh, knocking on heaven's door. How are you in the chat already? Like you're in the. Were you trying to put that in the private chat or the public chat?
I am group.
Okay. There it is. That's how we start the show. It is National Marching Music Day. So the question I have for you, gentlemen, is what is the best marching band you have ever been around, you've ever seen, whether it be college, pro, high school, name it. We'll start with, let's start with EB. He's seen a lot of marching bands in his day.
Oh, man, this one's tough. I mean, college, everyone's going to say Ohio State. So I'm going to go away from that. Probably one of the best high school marching bands I've ever seen was my uncle's when he was a band director up at Aurora. Dude, they used to do some pretty crazy stuff. Like, I know in the 90s when Robin Hood came out with Kevin Costner, not like the 7 remakes that they've had already. Like, they would actually, and you could probably never get away with this now, but like they would turn out all the lights and they had like, I don't think they were band numbers, but they had like archers come in and shoot the flaming arrows, like the fight scene from it.
Whoa.
And then they also did, they did the Batman scene where they did bat signal and everything. It was pretty cool. So they got pretty creative and you know, he started that band with like 25, 50 kids and ended up when he left with 250, 300. So,
wow.
I mean, they got to do a lot of cool stuff. They got to go to the Thanksgiving Day parades and go down to Disney and whatnot. So for a high school band, it was pretty impressive.
I mean, just to see the flaming arrows would have been sweet during like a halftime show. Can you imagine that? Coming out of the locker room as a football player and seeing arrows flying all over the place? Other than Coach probably gets enough arrows flying towards him some nights.
I'll have to see. We have it on VHS somewhere. I think we had them made into DVDs, which are obsolete now too. So have to dust off the VCR or DVD player and see what we can come up with.
Everything's in the cloud, baby. Everything's in the cloud. Quinn, best marching band you've ever seen live?
High school wise, Canfield. We did a lot of stuff like that when I was in high school, where we had some pretty cool halftime shows and all that. I don't remember what it was, but I remember they were pretty cool. They were always big, so like they had a ton of numbers. And then they did like the Disney trip and all that stuff was in the bands and whatnot. And then I would say recently probably South Range. South Range has a pretty good band. Being out there past couple years doing YSN stuff, football games with you, getting to see them, they were pretty good. Were
you at the Halloween concert where they turn out the lights and stuff? I mean, that's always my favorite.
That was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, that's going to be mine too, but I'll get to that in a minute. Billy, how about you? After Michael Page is correcting you on how to spell Groot.
Yeah, let's go, Grut.
There's only one band that matters in the universe, and that's the Ohio State University's band.
Okay. Have you've seen them live then, obviously?
Yep.
Very cool. All right, Coach Seidel, this is a real tricky one for you.
It is. I've seen my share of marching bands. Obviously, if we're talking college, it's got to be the best damn band in the land. But at the high school level, I've seen some pretty cool marching bands. And Brandon McPherson kind of stole mine a little bit there with Cleveland Shaw. Back in the day, they only had like 9 or 10 members total, and I think 6 of them were percussionists. But wow, were they unbelievable. The other one that comes to mind for me locally is I've always been a big fan of the way that Lobo gets a ton of kids involved in their band on Friday nights. For a small school to have, 60, 70 band members marching and to see everybody from football players to cheerleaders, like out there on the field at halftime, it's just cool.
Quinn,
I have
real
a
quick question. Yeah, go
for
ahead.
Seidel. Like, are you watching the bands at halftime, or are you making adjustments for your football team?
Remember, there were 2 years there where I didn't coach football, and so I
Okay,
was coaching bands during that time.
I
And then,
just want to double check.
yeah, no, that's a good question. But usually, there's some halftime adjustments going on.
Like, I know this year you guys couldn't go back into the locker room, and you had to like huddle up at the field goal post at the end of the football field. So I wasn't sure if you're like, all right, guys, I'll see you later. Gonna go check out the band or what?
It made it kind of interesting. You would hear things this year for sure.
I just have this picture of Coach Seidel. Everybody else is talking behind him about the game plan, and he's just sitting there like this, watching the band play.
Well, I'm an offensive guy, so when those defensive guys are talking, I just kind of go blank.
I figured you were just checking out like the trombone player, saying, "Hey, he would be a great offensive tackle if he just gave me a shot." So the always recruiting Coach Seidel. Quinn, I have a question for you. Do you happen to know off the top of your head who is the band director at Canfield?
It was
Was it Pepino?
no.
Okay.
He was a part of it though. He was He was one of the, I don't know, assistant band.
I thought
directors.
so.
I don't know what
Okay.
they're. He does the middle school band. I do know that. He might have stepped into the role or something. I think it was Mr. Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly. I don't know what his first name is though, but I
So-
believe it's Mr. Kelly.
So quick history lesson of East Palestine. Mark Pepino and Jeff, at the time it was pronounced DeCesar, were our band directors when I was coming up the ladder as a young pup in the East Palestine program. In fifth grade, you were able to become part of the band, and learn the instruments and move up. 7th grade, all the football players would quit because they would focus on football and stuff like that. Some of the volleyball players would, but somehow, naturally, they always figured out a way to play an instrument and continue to play volleyball. It's just the football players that kind of dropped off. Now, Pepino ended up going to Canfield in some capacity. I know that for a fact. And now Jeff DeCesare, who is at South Range, puts on the best performances I think that I've ever seen. So a little bit of EP, just a kid from EP talk there. So you have South Range and Canfield represented, two very good bands that have a little bit of East Palestine ties to them. So best marching band I see each and every Friday night is South Range. Naturally, I only get to see them when it's a home game. So love seeing them. And again, they're Halloween. If you've never seen a Halloween performance at South Range, you have to do it. It's fantastic. But we love the marching bands here. We've tried to incorporate them a little bit more each and every year here at YSN. So if you have a marching band that you're very high on, make sure you name drop them in the comments. Love to hear from you and get them a little bit of pub. So Billy, there's an ongoing battle right now between you and Paige. Do you want to take the floor for a minute and speak to Mr. Page while you have a moment?
Paige is just ducking me. Yesterday, he was too afraid to show his face around these parts because Billy the Kid was blazing on Tuesday. He just can't give up on the Richard Sherman thing, and he just wanted mid-defeat.
My man came out with flame today as we're going to turn the attention to Ben Roethlisberger re-signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers today. The question at hand is this a good move or a bad move for the Steelers organization, or does it help or hinder the Browns? So the first guy that comes at me, I drop the LFG, and he says, where are we going? Where are you going? And I said, for about 500 yards on you next year. And all of a sudden, the Browns fans, here they come out of the woodwork, following up Michael Page, and here he is. So I'm interested to see from your perspective, who's crazier, me or Page? Because I feel like Ben Roethlisberger is an asset to the Pittsburgh organization.
What was the deal? What was the numbers behind
They
it?
didn't release the numbers yet, which scares the living bejesus out of me.
I think that's what's going to dictate for me on what side I'm at. Is what the numbers end up
It's
being.
not 41 million. I can almost guarantee you that, which tells me that that's good for the Steelers because they can't afford that.
Let's just assume that it's less, right? So It's a good deal. Why wouldn't you want to keep a Hall of Fame quarterback there to, for the very least, mentor your two young quarterbacks that you got sitting behind you?
14 million?
And you don't have to go out and that's a good deal.
That's a huge deal.
That's for a quarterback, for a starting quarterback, that's pretty low. Unless you're Drew Brees.
Took a $5 million pay cut. Yeah, that's way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Way better. And it's spread out. Oh goodness. This hasn't finished biting us in the ass yet. Roethlisberger's going to have a Bonilla contract by the time this thing's over. But honest to God, is this a good situation for Pittsburgh? You know, being able to take a $5 million pay cut, you know, and that's a heavy, I guess a lighter hit against the cap now. Maybe you can afford some other guys, or do you still think that the Steelers are going to have some hard decisions to make offensive line and with their defense with Joe Hayden and guys like that?
$5 million is not enough.
No, they're still going to have to make some tough decisions. You know, obviously, it's a great deal now that we can see some of the numbers on it, and you know he's going to take that $5 million pay cut. And I think I was just looking that it's going to be about $10 million in cap space. So that's an even bigger deal. But you know, the next biggest piece that they're going to have to worry about is that offensive line, because you've got to be able to protect it.
I just like seeing Corey Linsley available. I mean, if my man's out there, the Steelers have got to go at him with full force, right? Right? Well, I mean, you're crazy not to.
Man.
You could draft a running back. There's plenty of running backs here in the second, third, fourth rounds. I mean, the Browns got Nick Chubb in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, but Nick Chubb fell off because of injury, correct? He had some knee injury, and
he did have a little bit of a knee injury, yeah.
As long as they were not drafting a QB this year, then yes, it's a good deal. I don't think that they have anybody fall to them at 24. You know, if Justin Fields is there, I think you got to take him.
Yeah, that's a situation. That's one of those Aaron Rodgers sitting there, Brady Quinn type quarterbacks they just start falling for no reason. Then you definitely you always take the best player available. Isn't that kind of, you know, the really good teams' history, and especially like Steelers, they take the best available?
No, the Steelers hardly ever do that, and that's why it's frustrating. You know what I mean? It's linebacker. You know what I mean? If they take the best linebacker in the first round, typically, or receiver that they can find, and you know there was a couple years there that it was boring because it was lineman. But it shored up the offensive line for the Steelers. So I guess my question is, do you feel like this helps the Steelers in signing Ben Roethlisberger? Does this help them get a better opportunity to win this year? Or do you think that this is just another opportunity for the Browns to beat them up 2 to 3 times a year? Quinn, we'll go with you.
I think it answers a couple questions. I think it buys them a little time too. But I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I hate admitting it.
He's a top 5 quarterback.
I'm not going to be like that, but I mean, he's still one of the best in the NFL. He's still. I mean, they went what 11 straight earlier this year, 11-0, I think it was, or was it 12 or something? I mean, 11. He still can win.
Nobody remembers that
playoffs, and he still produces. It answers a couple questions. I mean, it gives you more cap space, I guess, to sign somebody like Linsley, because I mean, you need to replace Pouncey. But I mean, it just buys you a little more time to put off getting another quarterback.
Man, Billy, I was really feeling bad about that ticket not going your way, but after that last comment,
I can't help it when you're talking about Big Ben, man. It's like, hey, here it is.
Man, I can't wait till it's Baker season. I cannot wait till it's Baker season. All right, EB, does this signing favor the Steelers or the field?
I mean, it favors the Steelers because it gives you a sense of direction. Like, you now know you at least have a solid quarterback. You know what you have as far as your backups right now, to where, you know, everyone keeps on saying, well, he can mentor Haskins, or Haskins can sit behind him for a year, which is probably what Haskins has needed all along. And then they still have a lot of tough decisions to make. You know, defensively, You still have a hole to fill in on the offensive line. You still, big question is going to be running backs. You know, in the NFL, I never worry about wide receivers because you get like 25 wide receivers that come out every draft that turn into something. You know, outside of the kid from Alabama, you know, a lot of these, Terrell Owens was not a top 10, you know, wide receiver when he's coming in the draft. So you find
best
the
receiver
talent
of all time, second best receiver of all time, according to some.
I mean, so you're going to have to look. I think they'll probably try to draft a running back, I'm going to assume, even if it's in the second or third rounds. Like, that dude from Ohio State, Trey Sermon, might drop second, third round. You know, he had a great second half of the year, but, you know, he didn't really do much the rest of the time. He would fit the Steelers organization well. Like he's, I think he would probably have a pretty solid career there. But big thing with Ben, though, is you got to make sure your line's good. You know, he ain't outrunning anyone. It's you might as well put me back there and say, hey, go, and I'll be like, hey, I'll give you 3 steps, and that's about it. And so that's going to be those two major questions. Defensively, whatever. I mean, they've always done a good job of plugging in players for success on the defensive end. So I think it gives them a little more direction, you know, than where they were at a month ago. But they still have some questions. And really, honestly, they're still going to be in the thick of things in their division. Like, everyone knows that division is going to be tough, and the Steelers are the Steelers right now, and as long as Ben's playing, they're still going to be in it.
So now that you have Ben, though, there's still so many issues, even money. That's why I said $5 million is just almost not enough, because you still have issues. You want to re-sign your linebacker Dupree, right? That's a big re-sign there that they want to have, or not. Maybe apparently not, but everywhere on the internet seems to be saying yes, it is a big. They do want to re-sign him, and he's going to ask for a little bit of money, and they're up against the cap too still. So $5 million to me is just not enough. I almost would, if he really meant what he said, I would have loved to see him into that $5 million range, because that would put his, you know, basically his money where his mouth was when he says money doesn't matter to me at this point.
Yeah, the NFLPA would never let him do that. They would.
You're right. They would never. But.
So, I misspoke a little bit earlier. I thought it was $10 million in cap space that it freed up. It actually frees up $15 million in cap space. So, you know, that's a pretty significant number. You can do some things with that $15 million. Now that puts a guy like Corey Linsley in play. You know, if you want to get one of those top name offensive linemen, you can do that now.
The only thing that bothers me about freeing up that much cap space is Ben always seemingly has an ulterior motive when it comes to, okay, I'll give you this, but you got to sign one of my guys. And one of his guys that he wants back is Juju Smith-Schuster, a guy that I'm not real crazy high on, guy that his antics cost us, I feel, the back half of our season because he wouldn't stop dancing on logos, whether it was ours or theirs or whoever's, just taking the focus away from what needed to be on the football field. So I'm interested to see, I think in the next probably week, 2 weeks, that, and obviously leading up to the draft, the Steelers are going to have to make moves. And obviously free agency starts, was it next week?
He did produce, though, and he torched the Browns in that playoff game.
Produced what?
Touchdowns, yards, receptions, the whole nine. I mean, he had 12 catches for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Browns.
Yeah, but
was that before or after they? Yeah, I mean, he's replaceable. If anybody's replaceable in that wide receiving core, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. I firmly believe that. Dude couldn't be a number one. You know, after AB left, he talked about how he was going to be the number one guy. Never stepped up into that. Always had trouble holding on to the football, whether it be from catching it or fumbling it. You know, and then he just does this all the time. You know,
it seems like a Raider. If this was 10 years ago, he seems like a perfect Raider.
He seems like a wide receiver is what he seems like, because I feel like they're all leaning towards that direction. You know, you got OBJ, you got, I mean, all of these guys. And I don't want to single out just a Brown, but I mean, the Hollywood Brown kid from Baltimore now is like that. It's crazy. Like wide receivers, I guess, you know, I guess they've always been divas. They've always been compared to divas, but I guess I've just never seen it until as of the last 10 years.
Keyshawn kind of really brought that to light. Well, even before that was Keyshawn. Like, give me the damn ball. Just throw me the damn ball. He wrote a book about it. Just throw me the damn ball.
That's because he probably had a ghostwriter. I don't think he's read too many of those books along the way. I'm probably not even
Another
as
USC guy, by the way.
Yeah,
Another
Jeff.
USC guy.
But I don't know. I feel like, I think the Steelers probably could have held out another couple days on this, given the carousel that is going to happen over the next week or so, because there are going to be a lot of people that are out now. The Lions telling people basically we're cutting you, so get ready. Get your agents lined up. There's going to be a ton of movement in the NFL this year, more so than I think ever before. So going to be fun for us, not so fun for teams trying to hold on and to see what's out there. Yes, Paige, Corvette, we get it.
So
They're also going to keep three quarterbacks.
Dak, are they?
I don't think Dak's in the question anymore, unfortunately. So enjoy that, EB. I think Dak's going to stay exactly where he needs to be.
They're also going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster too.
We have 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now.
It's just too many.
Somebody's leaving.
Yeah, I don't think who's the kid is a genius. Josh Dobbs. I don't think he's going to make the cut. And I think that you probably fight for a helmet every week with Rudolph and the kid from Ohio State, Haskins. I think those two are fighting for helmets every week, and I think Haskins eventually gets it. At the end of the season, as he can turn it up a little bit. But listen, again, the Steelers are not out anything by having Haskins in their back pocket. 0. Because if somebody takes him next year, signs him to a contract, Steelers get a first-round pick out of it. So, okay. Enjoy. It's a win-win for the Steelers. And to be able to sit behind Roethlisberger for a year and learn how it's done, learn how he goes through his progressions, learn how he handles himself on a day-to-day basis, I think it's good news. And we've already had this conversation about, it's Ben Roethlisberger, his history, da-da-da-da-da. And it's usually Browns fans, and no offense, Billy, or any of you guys on the panel, it's usually Browns fans that want to bring it up. They want to talk about Roethlisberger's history, but they don't want to talk about their own history. So, listen, Roethlisberger has been a good quarterback for a long time, not exactly the model citizen, but he's turned his ways, and hopefully
Hey, we got a whole bunch of AFL championships. Talking about history. Jim Brown.
Are we going to talk about that now? We can talk about it.
I didn't know. I just figured I would represent the rest of the Browns nation.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's talk about that history. Let's talk about the last 22 years.
Kind of remember this.
Yeah.
I've had concussions in playing football.
Imagine that timely.
I've had concussions in high school football, man.
That's why he is Grut, not Groot.
He is Grut.
See? Amy gets it?
It is National Grammar Day as well. So, if we could get Jeff Bezos on, we would celebrate National Grammar Day right now with an honorary spelling bee. We're going to take we got about 4 minutes. So let me ask you this. As a Browns fan, so we got 3 of the 4 of you guys Browns fans, does this concern you? Does this okay, Roethlisberger's back for another year. Just get through this year. If we can split with the Steelers, we're good. Or do you sit there like Michael Page does and say, great, this is the best news that the Browns have had this week?
I will say that the Browns have their own issues, okay? And if we take care of our own business, then we'll be fine. Whether we split, take 2, lose 2, whatever the case may be. But the Browns are a pretty good football team. We just have to build on it. For the first time in history since the 80s, we finally have coming off a winning record, and we have to build on it because the last time we had a winning record, we went right back down below the 500 mark. So I really am just excited to see if we can build on it and get better from it, not just kind of, learn how to be winners for a change.
So the question I asked about Roethlisberger scaring you, that doesn't.
It doesn't scare me, I don't really have any. No,
you're neutral.
I'm neutral on it.
Matt,
I'm right there with Billy. It definitely doesn't scare me. I think, he's definitely an aging quarterback. However, he's got some track record to stand on. But I'm of the belief that you got to handle your own business.
I can respect that. Quinn, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same boat for me. I mean, he's still. I mean, I guess I'm not afraid of him, but I still respect him, and I still respect the fact that he always somehow beats us, except for the playoffs last year.
That little one at the end, huh? Little hook.
Oh, ball went over my head.
Little hook.
I got it.
All right, man.
Oh, you got it.
You guys.
Oh, Miles Garrett's got it.
Enjoy.
Hey, did you see that the Pirates, since you're kind of talking about Pittsburgh, they they extended their name rights for 10 years?
Yep.
With all the cancel culture going on right now?
PNC Park, baby.
I like it.
Pirates have no chance. PNC Park. PNC. Pirates no chance. I mean, I love it because, number one, I don't have to change the mantra and theme of my basement because I have PNC Park in my basement over top my TV. So yeah, I'm happy for the next 10 years. Hopefully that, by the time we move, that's staying right there. So hopefully a Pirates fan buys my house.
I think it's pretty cool with all the let's just shut everything down and rename everything to vague and beige. So
what are they renaming that's vague and beige?
Just cancel culture. Another time, I guess.
Football club.
When did I ever say Richard Sherman was some super talent, by the way? Billy, you want this one?
Yeah, you basically sat here and said he was the greatest, and Quinn was here for this, and I think Coach was here for this, the greatest NFL leader in the history of football. That's what you said.
Perfect.
I was here for that.
And I lagged out. That's what you said. The Browns need Richard Sherman because he's the greatest NFL leader of all time. Not true. That's why he's played on 2 teams going on his 3rd.
What, Seattle and San Fran, right?
Yep.
Didn't say history of football. All right, so now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Now we're getting into the hyper details of, I didn't say that. Does this feel like a little bit of backtracking to you, Billy Mack?
Listen, it's all day here with Michael Page. He's terrified right now. He's just terrified.
Or say that I would take him over anyone else or everyone else. Oh, come on, man.
We were talking about free agent signings, and that was the first guy you came up with. Richard Sherman. That was the first guy he came up with. So eventually he is taking him over everybody else.
I don't like that move at all. Like if I was a Browns fan and Richard Sherman said I'm coming to Cleveland, I'm saying thanks but no thanks, man. Like we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's mad now. Billy Dose not want anything to do with cancel people.
Welcome to National Grammar Day.
Theory. Say this into the Power Hour. Billy does not want anything to do with cancel people. We were talking about Richard Sherman.
We were talking about free agents. That was it. And
we didn't bring Sherman up until he did, correct?
Right. Correct.
I don't think anybody would. Oh, he says go rewatch the show. He's challenging you up.
Hey, Billy.
Hey,
sounds like you're
the last person
during this game in Perry. You can watch the show again.
The last person who said on site got an RKO in the middle of YSN headquarters.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Coach saw it,
and he got two flavors of it. Double dose of it.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, still a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about NFL free agents. We're going to talk college hoops. We're going to say, are you going to be watching March Madness this year? And where are you going to be watching it? And who are you going to be watching it with? Given all the Corona prerequisites are starting to fly out the window. Where are you going to be watching it? And should we, YSN, do a fan bracket and have an ultimate winner? So we'll talk about that when we come back, as well as the G. Burley Farms filet or beef, brought to you by these awesome sponsors that have been supporting us for so long. Back after this.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
What? I saw that going on during the break, and I was like, I've got to come out with that. Welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, Matt Seidel, Billy Mack. We got Quinn and EB too, guys. An interesting college basketball season coming up. There was no March Madness last year. Completely started this garbage that we know as Corona now. Talk to me about your plans for college basketball, the March Madness. Are you going to be watching it all the way through as you did in years past? Or did last year give you kind of the breath of, do I really need to watch this in my life? I know a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, some people are like that they don't necessarily want to watch college basketball anymore. I, for one, will be all in. I'm excited to have whoever wants to come down to HQ. We're going to be watching it all day on the opening day. So what about you guys? Coach, how are you feeling about March Madness this year? Excited or just eh?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. A little bit disappointed that apparently I'm not going to have a rooting interest in the tournament this year, as it seems like my Duke is not going to be in the tournament.
Who is it? Who do you like?
Duke. I'm a Duke fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
It's the only sport that I go outside of the state of Ohio on. So just grew up that way. My dad was a big Duke fan growing up, so I kind of followed in those footsteps. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the whole thing. You know, I think there's some interesting storylines. I think that this could be a year that the Big Ten really makes some noise.
You could be right. This is the year of the small school. I feel it's the year of the underdog. So that's why I'm excited about it. I think it's usually North Carolina, Duke. This could be Gonzaga's year, which excites me because I've been a Gonzaga Bulldog quote unquote fan since I was a Bulldog back in the day.
Would you take them against the field?
No, I'm not that dumb.
Well, I figured I'd ask.
Good luck.
Maybe I'll ask Jeff.
Billy, do you know how to spell Michael?
I'm spelling it wrong on purpose.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think that's a cover right there.
Like I do Geoff.
That wasn't Billy. That was Grutt. That was Grutt.
Yes, also true.
I'm just stating the facts. I'm not sure what you're doing. We have a full-out war here in the comments. Not once did I say Richard Sherman at all costs. I just simply said I wouldn't mind if we take him. That's all.
Not true.
That is also not true. And for the love of God, as Poe would say, small g, it's Michael, not Mikal.
I'll do what I want. I'm grown.
I'm rooting for Cleveland State. You've been hanging around Betos way too much. The spelling has started to take a nosedive, man.
It really is, though. We were doing a game the other night, and Quinn goes, I can't believe you would say that and then say this. It's like two different people here I'm standing next. I'm like, it's the osmosis of Jeff Bezos.
Off topic, I think EB needs to zip up over there. Is she making fun of the xylophone that your microphone's going off of?
Probably.
Sure. Just for you, Kate. Just for you.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do that.
We'll just.
Quinn, are you excited about March Madness?
Absolutely. I'm extremely excited, and like Coach, my team isn't in it either, and that's because we stink.
Who's your team again?
Kentucky.
Oh.
And
They're
that's
doing great.
They stink.
They were super this year.
Yeah,
they're going to do
it's bad.
Really good in that other tournament.
Big time programs, I guess. I don't know.
NIT is going to be really good.
I'm making it to the NIT. What are you talking about?
Well, you can't spell NIT without Kentucky, right? So there you go. EB, how you feeling about this tournament coming up?
It'll be. I'm curious. Like, obviously, I'll watch. But it's all in Indianapolis, and I'm curious how they're going to tier the games. Because that's like that first weekend, like once it started at noon, it was like every 5 to 7 minutes they would have another game going. So I'm kind of interested how they're going to do the first couple days.
They're not going to be just in one building, right? It's going to be a few buildings.
Butler's right off there too.
Is where the Pacers play. Butler. I think they're in the Convocation Center too, Bailey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, because you have Butler, you have Indiana Convention, you have Bankers Fieldhouse right there. I mean, you could even if they really wanted to, they could put a court where the Colts play. And just get four or five games.
Wow. But courts in there.
And
they should just go to Texas because Texas allows everything to happen now.
Well, you have
Texas is
right
pretty
there.
much going to be.
Yeah, I saw the list of them. We got to pull that up. They said
IUPUI, and then even Indiana State, I think, is right in there too. So, I mean,
Indiana State's not. That's in Terre Haute.
I thought it was right.
Mm-mm. South.
What's the other one that's in downtown Indy then?
Terre Haute. Isn't that where there's a jail, like a big time
jail?
That's
the Supermax Penitentiary.
Good. Let's put a bunch of basketball players right there.
Look, man, it worked for the longest yard. We can do it. Mean Machine.
Hey, crew! Crew!
Who doesn't like to watch like sporting events on a weekday at noon?
Prisoners
all day.
Here's the locations of it. It said 2 courts inside Lucas Oil and inside Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, and Simon something Assembly Hall in Bloomington.
Also in Pawnee, Indiana, for all you Parks and Rec fans, they're going to have 1 court right there, and Tom Haverford's going to be the referee like he was.
Teams are able to practice in the convention center.
So they're going to have 2 courts in Lucas Oil.
2 in Lucas Oil and 2 where the Pacers play. And then they're going to use Hinkle, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, which I think is IUPUI, Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, and then Assembly Hall in Bloomington.
I'm interested.
It's basically like a big AAU tournament this year.
That's what it is. It's exactly what it sounds like. Quinn, it sounds like the exact same thing that you had set up.
They should have just used, depending on the fans, they should have just used the convention center. I mean, you have 26 different halls. I mean, it would be tough because of the noise, whistles, whatnot. But I mean,
put up the air walls, and you still got 13 courts or something you could do.
Hey, it's only a 5.5, 6 hour trip there.
Interestingly enough, they decided to use a standalone place as opposed to just playing on the home court. I don't know. Make me take a clue, OHSAA. Take a clue.
Yeah,
all right.
Why would anyone want to do that? You know, you got to be safe. So get home court the whole time, and people won't mingle.
I'm gonna let you know. I just got an awesome message from Steve Gilmartin. Blue Coats were in today. Man, it felt good walking around with my YSN cap.
I'm so glad it's trending.
The other thing I wanted to speak about for blue teams, Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, all blue. So I will not be picking a blue team to win the championship this year.
Isn't Gonzaga kind of blue?
They got red in it. Got red.
Gonzaga's definitely white and blue with a little red, but I mean,
blue.
Well, I highly doubt Duke makes it. Kentucky's out. Dude, Carolina's on the bubble. You know, they're going to have to win a couple more games.
When do you think the loss was when those three didn't make it?
Years.
I don't know. I asked you that same question the other day.
1898 when Naismith
Francis
and
Scott
Geneva
Key
opened up their college. Yeah, when they were probably playing outside in the jailhouse, yard while Francis Scott Key was dropping bars. So
my wife didn't know if I was telling the truth yesterday. Like, she didn't know if I was joking or being real about Francis Scott Key, me not knowing the gender of Francis Scott Key, and I assured her, no, that was real. That was not an act. Trust me, I felt absolutely stupid saying it, but caught me off guard.
When I watched that back yesterday, I was pretty disappointed.
What's that?
When I watched that back yesterday, I was pretty disappointed.
I mean, I only know a few things really well. Everything else I just kind of milk, right? I just kind of go along for the ride. History is not one of them. I can promise you that. I'm terrible at history, and I'm even worse. Listen, I'm just trying to be one of those guys that doesn't judge people by their name, right? Because everybody, I got my formal name is Daniel, and once every 2 or 3 years, I get one teacher that calls me Danielle the first day of school. And it was like the most embarrassing thing in the world. So guess what, Francis Scott Key? Even though you were a male, I wanted to make sure that in case you were a female, I didn't base my whole thoughts on that. So I think a woman could have just as easily come up with the Star Spangled Banner, which also we found out is more than just the national anthem. It is a lot more. As a matter of fact, as I looked it up on Google after the show, I was pretty amazed. It just goes on and on and on and on. So kudos to those of you who knew that, because I had no clue. Zero. And we will have Quinn this 4th of July, this Independence Day, will recite the entire Star Spangled Banner from top to bottom, including the national anthem, in a Patriots hat and one of those, what do they call them, 3-sided hats?
Oh,
can we get Betos to do like the Gettysburg Address? 4th score and 7 years ago.
Do you think that Betos knows what a score is?
Nope. I don't think Jeff knows what the Gettysburg Address is.
Gettysburg?
I don't get it. Why
that's over by Pittsburgh.
Talking about touchdowns.
Why do you need me to put that on an envelope?
Oh my God!
You tell Jeff to look up the Gettysburg Address. He's going to try and find the address for the park or something.
Hey Theory, where's the Gettysburg Address? The Gettysburg Address is at 1947 Gettysburg.
Why does Abraham need to score touchdowns? I don't get it.
Why couldn't you say how many years it was? I think I've watched one college basketball game in 10. What? I think he just lost credibility.
Ty probably would know that answer.
Yes. Agreed. I want to go back to this page. One college basket. He watches Formula One every Sunday, but no college basketball for a half a score? Come on, man. Even, like, I'm not the biggest college basketball guy, but even March Madness, the TV doesn't go off.
I don't think.
Man, what is it with National Grammar Day is not being kind to YSN today at all. Look at this.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
You prefer NBA over college basketball?
No, there's no way. There's no way.
Couldn't.
That's impossible.
The
NBA
complete ISO.
NBA shouldn't
No.
even be classified as basketball. I saw something on Facebook earlier today that they were wrestling around a basketball hoop, and I'm sure you guys probably saw that.
Hilarious.
That has more merit as basketball than the NBA does nowadays. I don't even like college foot. What?
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
College football is fantastic.
I still personally prefer NFL over college football. That's me. However, to say you don't like college football, that is wild.
Yeah, go to the one below.
Yes.
Paige must be with those blue coats.
Hold on, give it a minute. He's going to start moonwalking here in a minute. Maybe I do like college football.
I do like it. Maybe it's like my 3-year-old. Whenever you give her a choice, and she goes, "Maybe I do like it." Oh, here we go. I don't watch NBA that much, but I'll turn it on if I come across it. See, I'm the opposite way. I won't touch NBA basketball. Won't touch it.
Never spelling his name right again. It's Mikkel from here on out.
Mikkel!
You see? Get on the bus.
I watched the Cats for the first time in forever, and I mean it was painful to watch.
This is an interesting topic. What sport is out there that even if it's on, you'll turn on like a rerun of The Office or something like that? Like it just doesn't do anything for you unless it's your
Formula
team.
One.
I know exactly why you did that. Quinn, is there a sport or anything out there that you, if you come across it, you're like, and then you watch a movie or something on TNT?
Pretty much anything like racing, and that's like genuine, like not just because Michael. Like I can't watch racing. That or, in all honesty, probably hockey. Like I can't really get into regular season hockey, but playoff hockey is something different.
Playoff hockey is the most beautiful sport there is.
And then sometimes baseball because I don't have the patience to sit there.
Well, you can just go to hell. How about that?
I mean, dead honest, I don't have the patience to sit there for 9 innings. I can't.
Shocker. If they put food in front of you, you'd be fine though.
I'd still change the channel, but I'd eat the food.
They considered making America the Beautiful the national anthem, but I think the music is almost the same as England, so it was a no-go. That's interesting. The NBA basketball reminds me of YMCA Adult League.
Nah, YMCA Adult League is actual competition. They go hard.
Here we go.
NBA's garbage.
Coming from the chairman of the YMCA Adult League. That's probably because you're not awake for Formula One.
Nobody is.
Yeah, that's.
Nobody's gonna wake up at 4 in the morning to watch.
Oh, I thought it was just to put everybody to sleep. Yeah.
That's it.
Poor Paige. We're picking on him too much today. He did come at us though. I mean, not to be that guy, but he came at us hard.
He can handle it though. I got to meet Paige. He's a big, strong guy. He can take it.
I'm still waiting to meet Paige. Saw him giving away jerseys the other day and didn't even consider the YSN guys or YSN here just dropping some jerseys in the background. Paige, come on, man. Won't come on our show. He's turned down multiple invites to just pop in.
Killing me, Smalls.
Unbelievable. Set my alarm on Sunday mornings. He's dedicated.
I feel like you got to be like a gearhead to like racing, like to get up at 5 a.m. or whatever the time is to watch racing. You got to be a gearhead.
Can we do a GoFundMe for Paige to do a Formula One, like one of those laps around the track? Like I like the kid. I think we should get him a lap around the track in a Formula One race car.
Get him a go-kart and call it a day.
We'll go to Sports World all you want, bud.
Billy Mack from the top chipping the putt. All right, let's put a bow on this one. Not a whole lot to talk about, in case you were wondering today. It's a very slow moving sports day. We're gonna wrap things up with our games at a glance tonight. 4 games to speak of here on YSN. I do want to alert you, programming note, McDonald and Western Reserve will not be on YSN. Perry, for all intents and purposes, have been great to us. They said, listen, we're going to be holding the game ourselves. You can watch it on Boxcast. It's the same price, I believe, $9.99. There will be no announcers, as we've been told, but that's the best way to do it. So if you're looking for the McDonald versus Western Reserve game from the comfort of your own home or your own device, you need to go to, I believe McDonald has it out there on their Facebook page, but it's on Boxcast. So you look it up on Boxcast, and I think it's real simple. You just McDonald or Western Reserve or whoever you're looking for, and again, $9.99, and you can have that. As for us, over here at the network, we will have Canfield and Chardon at 7 o'clock. Myself, Steve Leslie, will have the coverage of that one. Struthers will be covering the Struthers versus Canton South game. That tip-off is at 7 as well. Mr. Pav will have Poland versus Louisville tonight at 7 o'clock. And Jamie and Romo, the Wonder Twins, will have Cheney versus West Branch. Those guys are just magnets for excitement. So for $9.99, you get all 4 of those games. You can flip between them as you wish, and I'm sure those are 4 games that you're probably going to be flipping a lot because the remote is probably going to wear thin tonight on the network. Again, $9.99, you can get all those games. We thank you for that. $9.99 obviously covers our charge. We'll be about $500 deep tonight that we'll owe to the OHSAA, and hopefully we can get those fees covered by great people like yourself. So thank you very much for all the support of this basketball season, and of course the postseason with the $9.99 upcharge, and you know why we're doing it. So thank you to especially guys like Paul making sure this is lined up. I say that with a little bit of a chuckle because of the situation with Billy and Quinn right now. So
I'll buy your pizza, Billy.
Billy is not happy. Not happy.
Just wear your badge.
Just wear your badge. That's all you got to do. It's a magic badge. He's gonna cut it out. Oh gosh. Let's go before we get in too much trouble with Paul to the YSN featured presentation, the one that we've had since the jump. It is called our G. Berwick Farms Beef or Filet. Is of course you know how it works. Beef is something that you got problems with. Filet is something that you want to give attention to and give props to. Billy Mack, start us off.
2 beefs. First beef, Paul.
That didn't last long. Why?
Paul had a job to do for me, and he failed to do so. So I'm on the outside looking in. So Paul.
Boxcast.
Second beef is cancel culture, and I'm not going to get too crazy with it, but I'm sick of all the just the BS of let's just cancel everything and rename Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss and all this other BS. I'm sick of it. Deal with it, people. Get a little tougher.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't want to go too far.
All right, buddy. Let's go to Matt Seidel. Coach, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going with the play today. I think there's some really good games that are going to be on tonight. And YSU's lucky that they're covering a bunch of them. So, or YSN, I'm sorry, YSU.
That's all right.
Just throwing words out there. Letters are a struggle today. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to paying the $9.99 and getting the games tonight and being able to flip between a bunch of them.
Awesome. All right, Quinn, how about you?
I have a beef, and it's with my father. He calls me at random times, or he'll call me, and I won't be able to answer. I'll call him right back. He won't answer. Or I'll text him, and he won't answer, and then he'll call me. It's just work your phone. Just work your phone.
Work your phone?
Yeah. And he sits there. He just sits on his chair with his phone, and he won't answer. It irritates me.
Your dad's a legend. Leave him alone.
He is, but he doesn't answer phones.
Well, neither do you.
I answer you all the time. Priorities. I answer certain people.
Okay. Let's go to EB. What do you got, buddy?
My filet is, well, I'll at least get to enjoy a car ride with Billy. It's about all Billy's going to enjoy, but it'll be a fun car ride.
Fast.
And then we'll get to hit up Kraus Pizza. So it's some
Great
good stuff.
pizza.
So excited that Billy gets to experience Kraus and hopefully a game. But if not, he gets to experience Kraus.
I'm not lying to you. I'm super jealous of you guys. I mean, it just sounds like fun. A car full of you hooligans. And Quinn, your sister's going too?
I believe so, yes.
That
I don't know if
poor
she's
young
going to
lady.
want to leave as early as we are, so she might drive up separate.
Okay, well that's not as fun because I was going to say that poor young lady, the stories that she's going to hear.
Trust me, she is just as much as us as anybody. She's not a poor young lady, I promise.
Well, she's got to deal with you, so
True.
poor young lady.
Does
And
that
if she had
every
to deal with Billy in the spirit he's going to be in.
I'm going to be just fine. I can assure you.
Did Paul send you a text?
Nope.
Did you find your badge?
Nope.
Do you have a badge?
What's that?
I don't know. We're still trying to figure out what badge we got from YSN. Where's my YSN? Freeze! Mine is going to be it's simple. It's just well, I lost it. So I'm gonna go with a fillet now. I had a conversation. No, I remember what it was. It is people who took us for granted during the year, right? The free service that we put on that was very, very graciously paid for by WRS Wealth Advisors. And now, unfortunately, that $9.99 is intact. I'm getting emails from people saying, well, it was okay when it was free, but now that I have to pay for it, it's not up to standard. So a little bit of frustration there. You know, naturally, we are a for-profit company. We are a small business, and we continue to look and try to make strides as we can. Sometimes we get put in awkward corners of the gymnasium where we just have to make the best of what we can. So unfortunately, if you've got issues with where we are and not being able to go to the game in the first place, that's life, right? That's life. You deal with it. We push the envelope as much as we possibly can, and unfortunately for us, that's it. Just what are you doing? Like paper mache over there, or what are you doing?
I'm getting my badge ready.
Even better. That'll put a wrap on the YSN Power Hour for this Thursday. Wow, hard to believe. We'll wrap up the week when we come back tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on YSN. Thank you guys for all being part of it. Whether you're a panelist, whether you're tuning in, or whether you're a sponsor, we appreciate you up and down and left and right. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the YSN Power Hour. So long, everybody.
YSN.